Casey McLaughlin.
Hi, thank you. I would say right off the bat that we need to get rid of the free kindergarten program. That's an easy one. We all had to pay before, and it's not needs-based, so I think we can get rid of it. While it's great that the union negotiated a contract that guaranteed them a raise every year, the vast majority of us civilian taxpayers have not had an increase or a raise, yet we're being asked to underwrite the poor budgeting and mismanagement of school funds. I don't want to cut any teacher positions or funding for academic programs whatsoever, but I do believe that these coordinator positions have got to go. When I was teaching in Easton, which spends far less per pupil, by the way, there were no coordinators. There were department heads who taught 3 classes instead of 5 per day. But those department heads did the coordinating and received a stipend on top of their salary, not a whole new position. Next, we need to examine these administrative positions more closely. I think there is some serious redundancy, especially in the virtue signaling department. What exactly does an assistant superintendent of equity and engagement do that a new DEI director doesn't? Why have we spent $70,000 on an outside consultant named Katie Novak, who single-handedly ruined Barrington Public Schools by destroying their honors program? Lastly, we need to examine every single student who is not connected to a tax-paying resident and make some tough decisions. Yes, I'm touching the third rail, the METCO program. According to the Boston Globe article posted in November 23, the METCO program reimburses $8,300 per pupil. We spend $19,350 per pupil. That's a balance of $11,000 per kid. Multiply that by the 62 METCO kids we had last year, and that's a shortfall of $685,000. So maybe I'm wrong that we're getting all of that money, but according to the Boston Globe, we're not. And somehow we needed an entire FTE to coordinate the program at a cost of $90,000. That is total insanity for another administrator. That's a high price for families who are living check to check and seniors on fixed incomes to have to subsidize in order to virtue signal that we're woke. And don't get me started on the non-citizens, because I know there is no one in this entire district who has backbone enough to push
Miss
back on our little.
Miss McLaughlin, you're over time.
Hi, I just wanted to echo what John said as well, and disagree with Judge Judy about the curriculum coordinator part, because all, especially teachers, modern teachers, all have to go through a master's degree program. And so it is a very intensive course of study where we go through curriculum frameworks. There is a tremendous amount of responsibility that teachers now have to take in their classrooms. And again, like I said, when I was at Franklin, where I did my student teaching and where I ended my career in Easton, we had department heads who served as those curriculum coordinators with a reduced class level and a stipend, and they were able to coordinate each department so that we were all in line, pacing wise, curriculum wise, mass frameworks wise. All of our kids that were on IEPs were being serviced. Like, we had that oversight with our own, and they connected to the principals. They, orchestrated the observations. It was very, very professional and very well done and tight. And so that is something that I think that we could replicate. I think that that's a creative idea that we should definitely traverse. I also am upset by the fact that SROs aren't even on the table. We still have one school resource officer for the entire school. That's not even part of the budget. So if you're talking about these draconian cuts, which I think are highly offensive and totally out of touch with what everybody in the community has expressed, I think that you're going to raise class sizes. And guess what? That's going to increase discipline issues, which is going to need school resource officers. And so people who are honking on about all of the hate and anti-Semitism and whatnot in school also have to take responsibility for the fact that you're setting these kids up for failure if there's not the discipline structure in place to be able to address these inevitable issues that are going to come up. And lastly, the kindergarten class, I think that is something that is an easy cut to make. So again, let's get creative with what we can do, and let's put these administrators, like, come on. seriously, like almost 200 grand for an equity and engagement position. Like, think about the teachers that you could actually subsidize if that position weren't in place. Because again, it's a redundant position. No offense to the person that's in that position. So that's all I got. Have a good night.
Thank you.